Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. Today we're going to be looking at ProCaps by Lloyd and Murphy's Magic. An interesting little prop with both some negatives and some positives and some things that you should know before buying. So definitely an interesting review coming up. Let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about ProCaps. Now, what is ProCaps? In its simplest form, is the ability to vanish a stack of coins or make appear a stack of coins under a bottle cap. That is what ProCaps is in its simplest form. Now, in order to show that, I'll do a small performance, just the most bare bones thing so you can get an idea of what you can do with it. So first you would introduce here a few coins. You would ask your spectators to look at them, to inspect them. They would do so, or they can be borrowed, so the spectator can borrow them. You have them place them in your hand and you tell them, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna make here a stack of coins and we're gonna place it right here on the table. We're then gonna take here a bottle cap, we'll place it over the coins. And now what we're gonna try and do is we're gonna try and make these coins go from underneath here through the table. So you place your hand underneath the table and then you go 1, 2, 3. And then I don't know if you could hear that, but right here are the coins that were borrowed or inspected and the ball cap is nothing under. And that is essentially the bare bones kind of way that you could do ProCaps. But there's much more to it, so we're gonna get to that as we progress into the review. So what do you get when you buy this? Where do you purchase it and how much does it cost? This costs $39.99 USD. It's available at your local Magic dealers. Most likely it's carried by everyone since it is a Murphy's Magic product. And what you get is this. You get this beautiful, nice box. Inside of here, you get a red cap with a red gimmick, a blue cap with a blue gimmick, and you also get your bottle ring, which is gonna serve the purpose for some other things that this gimmick and product can do, as well as your instructional video, which is thought by Craig Petty. It is extremely good. It's in depth, it's informative, it has a ton of routines from just simple vanishes, coins through tables, transposition of coins, coins jumping from the hand to the ball cap, then from the ball cap to the hand. So kind of, jumping coins. There's even some tricks with cards and the ball cap. So there's an extensive library in the tutorial video, which is around, I would even go as far as saying around 3 to 4 hours long. It's a very in-depth tutorial video, very well shot. So that's essentially what you get with your purchase of ProCaps. Now, there are some things that are going to be mentioned that are a bit of some new, some hindrances with the effect, which is why I couldn't even do a part of the performance with you because I'm on a mat here, which is definitely something I'm going to mention throughout. But there's also some really great things to talk about ProCaps as well. So we're going to get into them progressively as we move through the review. Now let's get into the difficulty. Is ProCaps difficult to perform? And the answer is neither yes nor no, because it depends on two things. One, it depends on your knowledge of coin magic. Are you new to coin magic? Then this is probably going to be a bit hard. Are you intermediate? Then this is probably going to be intermediate. Are you advanced? Then probably this is going to be super easy. So it depends on that first, and then it depends on the routine. Because some routines, like the one I showed you, require almost no sleight of hand and no moves. Super easy to do. Others require a lot of routining, misdirection, audience management, sleight of hand moves, and a lot of different things. So those ones are definitely going to be harder. So then you have to mix and match between your level in coin magic with the level of the routine. So you can definitely understand here how even someone that's beginning in coin magic could do a few of these routines, but not others. How an intermediate could do a lot of the routines, but a few not really because they're a bit maybe too hard, and how a seasoned coin magician could do everything on the project. So you kind of get that the difficulty here is not an attributed difficulty to the product itself, but it's something that really depends on your own skill level of coin magic and the routine that you choose to perform. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into practicality. Is this effect practical? Yes, and also a bit no. So it is practical in the fact that if you want to carry this around with you, all you need is this, is the ball cap and the ring. You place it inside of your pocket, like jeans pocket, wherever, and you're good to go. I personally would recommend also carrying around a stack of 4 or 5 coins, because I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but apart from me, no one in my family, none of my friends, and none of my family's friends actually carry around coins with them anymore. So I think borrowing this could be a bit of a challenge, because I don't think people carry coins with them as much as they used to. So definitely I would say bring your stack of coins and your ball cap, and you can see how practicality wise, you could do like 10 routines with this. Just with this and this, you could do like 10 routines and you're good to go, and basically no pocket space. So carrying wise, extremely practical. However, performance wise, there are things that you have to keep in mind. And the most important one is the surface on which you perform. On a mat like this, you can only vanish the coins. You cannot make the coins reappear. If you're on a table with a thick like tablecloth, you know when you go to like those fancy restaurants and they have like the white thick tablecloth, you could maybe do this effect, but it's gonna be a bit harder to do because of how it works and because you're not on a hard surface. So you really have to be on a hard table, like a wood table or whatever, like basically just a table, hard surface with nothing really obstructing you from being able to hit this onto the table with a bit of force for it to operate and dislodge the coins. So that's definitely something that you're gonna have to keep in mind practicality wise, is that you'll have to keep in mind you need a table, and you need a table that is not obstructed by a mat or a thick tablecloth. Because I have tested out on thick tablecloths, and it is possible to do it, but it's a bit finicky. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. So another thing practicality wise is that I've seen people talk about, to me it's not much of an issue because I'm not someone that really cares about justifying their props. You know, I feel that if you're a magician, you're out to perform something for someone, you don't necessarily have to justify everything. Like, of course, if you're in a bar and you bring out a sawing table and sawing a person in half, like huge box with you in the bar, then you're probably gonna have to explain why you carry that around with you in your car, right? But for something like a small bottle cap, or for something like a deck of cards, or for something like a coin, or a coin that some people don't know, I don't think you really need to justify it personally. Because, you know, it's part of your performance. And since you're someone that's performing, sometimes you do need certain things to help you perform. To me, it's not an issue. But I do know that for some people, it's a bit of an issue because they've never seen a bottle cap like this in their life. And I'm in that camp. In Canada, at least in Montreal where I live, there is not a single bottle cap that looks like this. So, you know, you have to justify that because you can't screw this onto a bottle. It doesn't fit. So you can't just take it out of a bottle and do it. I've seen Lloyd and Craig say that, you know, you could just have this like palmed, and then when you take a bottle, just take it and you're like, okay, let's take this off this bottle, and the bottle had no cap at the start, and you just take this out and you place it on the table. So you could do that, but I know for some people not having this available towards them or being able to put on a bottle and then taking it out is a bit of an issue, but I don't think it is. However, I do think this is a bit of a justifiable thing because, you know, why do you need this ring for certain parts of the routine, but then you don't need it for other parts of the routine? And that could play a bit of a role for some people, right? Like having to justify, like could raise some flags as to why you need this for when you do that, but then you put it to the side and then you bring it back. That is a bit of a justifiable thing that you're gonna have to deal with. So keep that in mind. And the last thing, actually last two things, because this is basically where the meat of the review is in this section. One, the stack of coins. The stack of coins comes to you blank, which means it's gonna be silver. So the stack of coins that you get is gonna be silver with no top coin, which means you can adapt this to your own currencies. this is marketed as quarter or 10 pence UK, but that's not really true. You could literally do this with any coin that is similar to a diameter of a 25 cents in Canada. So you can definitely look that up, the like circumference and diameter of a 25 cents, and it's silver with bezeled edges. So if you're in Canada, you definitely know what I mean. But if you're somewhere else in the world, you're not only restricted to UK or US money. If you have a coin similar to the Canadian one or the US one, you could do this routine. And I wish they would have said that more clearly in the product description, because it's definitely a major positive to this, but they don't really get to it. And I think that it should be a bit, cleared up. So that's pretty much what I have to say about the practicality of this. So maybe also I've seen people complain about the stack of coins doesn't look like a stack of coins because it's a bit taller than your normal stack of coins and a bit wider at the bottom. But I really think that in performance that flies, and that is not as much of an issue as things that I've mentioned previously. Now that's out of the way. Where do you perform this effect? Now this effect is definitely a bar, restaurant, casual performance effect. I wouldn't see many people perform this on stage or people perform this in parlor, because if you're usually performing on stage, you don't necessarily have a table. And if you do, you most likely have a mat, so you won't do this. And I doubt that you're gonna strip away your mat and your tablecloth on stage to do this trick. Honestly, I don't think you would. Same for parlor. I don't think someone that does a lot of parlor magic and more close-up parlor magic, like let's say the Magic Castle, is gonna strip away their mat and the tablecloth of the table at the Magic Castle to do an effect like this. But apart from that, I think this excels in bar, restaurant, kind of table hopping situations. So for example, if you're a cocktail magician or you're someone that does table hopping at weddings, I do think this could definitely work. It's packed small and plays big because you can do a lot of routines with this. You can definitely do a lot of routines, and you're not even obliged to do the same routine at every table. You could literally do a different routine at every table. Then when people talk about it, they're like, oh, did you do the thing where the coins go through the table with the bottle cap? And then they're going, no, with me, he made the coins change from 25 cents to 5 cents with the bottle cap. So you could definitely do some different routines there. But I really do think that where you perform is going to depend on having a table, and having a table with no thick tablecloth or mat. And yeah, so I think that that's what's going to determine really where you perform this effect. So because of those conditions, I really do think that bar, casual, kind of going to eat out with people type of performances is where this excels. And that's mostly as well, even in the performance videos where the effects are performed, right? In those kind of scenarios. So that's what I think is important to note as well. Now that that's out of the way, what are the positives and the negatives of ProCaps? Let's start with the negatives. The negatives of ProCaps is one, of course, your table restriction and the fact you're going to need a table, and a table with nothing obstructing it most of the time to be able to perform the full extent of the effect. If you just want to do the what I did, like the simple coins to table, then you're good anywhere. You really don't need a table. You could even do it in a spectator's hands, right? For that specific routine. Also, I want to mention that there are some routines that use the spectator's hands as well, but of course you won't be able to do the the appearing coins in those type of routines, but Craig goes over that. But nonetheless, most of the time you're going to need a table to get the meat out of the product. Second of all, having recently watched a bit of Homer Leewag's, I hope I didn't butcher his name, masterclass on Vanishing Ink, if you're someone like him or Chris Kenner that handles the coins really elegantly, you pick up the coins like this, you handle them like this, like if they were like little feathers and little like diamonds, right? And then you come here and you do ProCaps and you're like, okay, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna place it on the table, and you smash it on the table. I think it breaks the routining that you're doing, and it clearly signals to the spectator that something is going on, because you do have to hit this on the table with a bit of force to be able to perform this effect. So to me, that is definitely something that you have to keep in mind, because if you really are like elegant and you do like routines where you're like plucking coins from the sky and super elegantly snapping them into reality and you do like really elegant type of sleight of hand magic with coins like that, and then you come here and you have to slap this on the table, like if you were like the Hulk, it does draw back a bit from the performance, and I think that it will raise a bit of alarms. And then except for that, in the negatives, maybe the fact of the ring that you have to put it on and off when you do certain things, maybe certain people are going to catch on or something. That's something to keep in mind as well. But except for that, that's all the negatives I have to say about ProCaps. What are the positives? The positives are, one, the tutorial video and the routines. You have a plethora of routines for all skill levels. So you're getting really, really good tutorial. Your every move is explained. Everything is well explained, well shot, and you can pick and choose the routines that you want. And most of them really, really are fun and great. Second, again, I kind of hinted at this in the previous point. It's accessible to everyone, beginner to advanced. You're going to find something here that you could do or you could perform regarding your own skill level with coins. So that's definitely a major positive. Another positive is you get 2 bottle caps, 2 gimmicks, 1 ring, but nonetheless, you know, you're getting a lot of stuff here for your money. So if, let's say, one day you manage to lose one of the caps, you know, you'll have another one to be able to perform. However, make sure that you don't lose the ring because you only have one of these. So if you lose the ring, then you're kaput. So still, having 2 gimmicks is useful because you can interchange them and, you know, switch them out whenever you want. So that's another positive. Another one of the positives that I also want to raise is the extent of the difference of the routines. As I mentioned in the start of the review, it's not only appearing, disappearing coins. You can do changes. You can do this with like a torn corner of a playing card. There's different things that you could do with this. So really the depth of the effects that you can do is definitely another positive of ProCaps. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the positives as well. So now that we've balanced the negatives and the positives together, what do I give this? Do I recommend it? And how much do I rate on 10? Now, would I recommend this? Yes, to coin magicians. If you're someone that does coin magic, you like coin magic and you perform a lot of coin magic, then I do think this is something worthwhile for you to add into your repertoire, because I really do think it adds a really clean moment of appearance and disappearance in your routine that is really worth this money. Like when the coins disappear and like appear through the table, the cleanliness of just being able to turn this ball cap and show there's nothing, or being able to show an empty ball cap, you then take it, you place it here to the side, you make some coins vanish in your hand, and then you make them appear underneath of the ball cap is really magical. So if you're someone that does perform with coins a lot and you're prolific with them and enjoy it, I definitely do think that ProCaps is worth your money. However, if you're someone like me that doesn't really perform with coins and is really, really selective as to what they do with coins, I don't think this is going to make you go out and perform more coin magic or change the way you see coin magic. So maybe it's not the product for you. Nonetheless, it's a good product and it's a pretty strong product for what it's meant to do. So what would I give ProCaps by Murphy's Magic and Lloyd Barnes? I would give it a 7.5 on 10. It's a good product, not one that personally I'm going to use because I don't perform much coin magic, but I do think it has its audience, it has the people that are going to enjoy this, and I do think the moments of magic that this offers are truly, truly great, so I recommend it. So that's all I have to say about ProCaps. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. I look forward to seeing what you have to say about this. If you bought it, if you didn't, if you have further questions, I'll be there to answer them. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see everyone in my next review. Have a great week and weekend. All the best. Bye-bye.